Hello, this is Joshua Dennis, student at the University of West Georgia. We are focusing on the class of integrating technology into the physical education environment. We have been studying and researching and experiencing how to use technology in a physical education environment. And in particular, with this particular presentation, we have studied and did research on had to document Silverman we had to read for our work. And we've been looking at the different aspects, the different angles, different areas that the author Silverman comes from in studying the use of technology in physical education, which was written by him in 1997. Of course, we're now in 2017, which is 20 years later. But we're going to be talking about many of my thoughts, many of his thoughts, and many of the overall general population's thoughts about how the disadvantages and advantages of using technology in a physical education environment. So, our first thought that we're going to discuss is what is the state of affairs regarding technology in PE in 1997? The discovery of the benefits of technology in physical education has helped teachers with the development of things such as lesson plans, tests, and handouts. Using Microsoft Excel for spreadsheets has assisted teachers in recording numbers for things such as the fitness gram. And this is something we participate in each semester as physical education students to help us with our own health and help us recognize and how to use the fitness gram to measure student fitness in our future careers. Silverman's essay not only examines the benefits of integrating technology into PE, but also examines the possibilities and potential problems with technology in PE. Another benefit, however, includes teachers not having to use grade books for calculating student grades, but they can just input student grades into a database on a computer. This enables students' grades to be more accurate and not prone to man's error. And because unfortunately there have been times throughout public schools and private schools in the United States where teachers have miscalculated grades and given students either higher grades or lower grades than they deserve. Our last point with this particular aspect of the topic is people who are physical education teacher candidates must learn how to incorporate technology into their teaching to become effective future teachers. Another beneficial technology tool that can be incorporated into teaching is the use of an iPad or tablet. These are tools that can be utilized in the place of paper or an index card. The next question we'll discuss is which possibilities does Silverman, which he wrote this article in 1997, perceive for technology in PE? The implementation of technology in PE should increase over time. Silverman states that the specific resources for physical educators shows the great potential of the World Wide Web for physical education. This essentially means that physical education has a great chance to be successful when taught online due to the material that is already available for us to use online. The incorporation of technology helps with these advancements. I personally believe that, however, with physical education being available online, I don't think it's as beneficial as face-to-face meetings with teachers due to the apathy that might result in teachers and students being able to use physical education online. They might not be getting their 60 minutes a day and the time that they need each week of physical activity in order to maintain their health. So I personally don't believe in this certain area. Our second point is PE Central is one resource that is already available for physical educators online. Other uses of technology in the future, such as in the future, such as videos, can assist teachers with demonstrations, and video cameras can assist physical educators with the overall monitoring of the classroom environment. Our third point is the availability of physical educators on the World Wide Web can enable physical educators from all over the world to connect with each other without being a part of an institution. And this further goes on with this connection. This connection can create even more of an awareness of the physical education field around the world, and it can help physical educators become better teachers. When you're able to network and connect with people through social networking, through social media, through other physical educators all around the world, and all the physical educators' ideas come together, they can really make for some fantastic ideas, lesson plans, and we can really help each other with making physical education more known, and really instilling the importance of it in many people around the world. Our third question that we are going to tackle is, which potential problems does the author, Silverman, perceive of? Our first point is, only certain students may have access to technology in the physical education classroom. Some schools cannot afford a lot of technology, such as electronic boards, pedometers, and Fitbits. As an educator, the goal is to make sure each student has equal opportunity to learn information. In this certain scenario, if a certain student does not have the access or chance to use technology like other students do, they might become upset and not have the desire to participate in class anymore. This could ultimately affect their grades. Unfortunately, some students can afford technology, and some parents can afford for students to have technology available to them either at home or at school. So this can create conflict within the classroom if technology is incorporated. Some kinds of technology may decrease physical activity rather than increase it. This is why the type of technology that is desired to be incorporated must first be carefully examined. If the technology promotes little to no movement or fitness, it should be reconsidered. If it interferes with fluent movement or of a certain skill, it should be reconsidered as well. So we don't want technology to be a hindrance, but we want it to be help to the students and to us as well. Our last point for this particular question is, teaching students through a video is oftentimes not as engaging as a physical educator teaching a lesson his or herself. The authenticity of engaging and learning from a teacher in person can enable students to be more enthusiastic about engaging in a lesson. He or she is more influencing than a video in most cases. Some teachers just have that particular demeanor about them that, makes students want to learn and makes them want to be enthusiastic about lessons, and they have that certain enthusiasm and aura about themselves that really encourages students to learn and to do work in their classrooms and become healthy, because that's what it's all about, promoting a healthy lifestyle far beyond the classroom when students graduate and students move on in their lives. Our next question that we're going to tackle, that we have tackled through these assignments already, is, what is considered to be the technological revolution? Our first point for this question is, the advancement of technology that has transpired in America today has brought about many changes. From businesses to sports to education, each of these things has been transformed in some way through the use of technology. Sports is something that I, particularly really love to watch and experience and things of that nature. And one thing that the NFL incorporated this past year is iPads on the sidelines to help coaches draw up plays and show particular players why plays work, why plays didn't work on the sideline when they come in for timeouts and things of that nature. So I found that really helpful for coaches on the professional level. Our second point is the main way that technology has changed America is through social networking. Social media outlets such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter has played a huge part in shaping the youth and adults of America. The youth of America have been influenced by it more due to a majority of them growing up with a technological device in their hands. These younger generations now are growing up with things like cell phones, iPads, tablets in their hand that their parents are making available to them, and not being in tune with these certain social media outlets as teachers is something that can be very detrimental to students' learning, because they can be turned off if no technology is used at all, and no kind of social networking, and not understanding what social media is can really be a hindrance to student progression. Our third and final point with this question is talking about Cheryl Lambert and another article that we read that had to do with technology. This wasn't particularly Silverman, but it was deals with another reading that we had to do. And in her article, she says that 92% of teens report using social media daily. This entails that many of these teens most likely connect with hundreds or even thousands of people every day through these networks. It also shows the importance of using technology in the classroom to reach students and keep their interest during lessons. So again, keeping the students' interest is important to learning. It's important to their progression. And keeping their interest, can really help their grade and things of that nature as well. But we don't want to be too necessarily focused on the grade. We want to be focused on encouraging that physical active lifestyle outside of the classroom. And so promoting it on social media, I know there are certain, rules about teachers being friends with students on social media, but just having it out there, having that available for students to see, maybe on the wall when they come in every morning on the projector screen, how physical education is being advocated for on social media, having those things available can really be helpful. Our next question is one of the questions we had to answer for our assignment. How can technology provide information, compress motivation, inform learners, and connect learners to learners and learners to teachers? Our first point is providing information. We're just going to go in order here with the question. The internet plays a huge part in the information that is known in the world today. Information like statistics, records, and other historical facts are uploaded and submitted onto the internet by many people. The internet acts as storage for these things so that people can look at these things years from now. And this is another way the internet is really a great way to hold it holds stats. You can go to Google, you can type in, a player stats from the 1990s, such as Michael Jordan or Akeem Olajuwon or Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, different professional athletes. You can type in, ask Google what their stats are, points per game, rebounds, things of that nature, and it will tell you these things. And that's a way in which it can provide information. Compressing motivation is our next point. And in the role of e-technology in physical education and sports article that we read, the author says that the phrase "knowledge is power" is nowhere more true than in a society where information or data is the force that drives the new economy. Technology, through the use of computers and the internet, helps us compress information that people use as motivation in their careers. Knowledge is power is a very common expression that people use, and it is definitely an important today in our society, because if you do not have any, if you lack knowledge in certain things and a lot of things, you will not be effective at all. And especially as a teacher, you have to have knowledge, and knowledge is power is nowhere more than in true than in that society where information or data that is the force that drives the new economy. So even making money, it's very important to have knowledge for those things. That's the way in which it compresses motivation. And our last point: inform learners and connect learners and teachers. One of the main purposes of technology is to provide information for people. It also enables us to understand and come to know things that we had never thought of before. With the increase of social networking around the world, people are able to connect with others around the world. Technology also helps students connect with learners in the classroom. Like I said previously, there are certain rules about teachers and educators being friends with students on social media. We learned this in the ethics tests and things of that nature. But if certain counties and districts allow, being friends with a student, and only communicating with them through social media about physical education can really be impactful and help them continue the physically active lifestyle. Our next point, we're wrapping it up here. Which steps does Lambert sketch for integrating technology into PE? Speak their language is our first one. It is important for teachers to not be ignorant to the use of technology. Our second point is promoting our program. Physical education has been able to become promoted through social networks. Third point, saving trees. Integrating technology in the classroom prevents teachers from having to use paper for things such as handouts and other assignments. Students can work on and submit assignments on the computer. Starting small. When teachers begin to incorporate technology into the classroom, it is important for them to not overwhelm themselves with it. Beginning with just a couple of apps would be more appropriate. Our final point, being the student. Having the determination to understand technology for the success of students can be very beneficial. Teachers asking technology experts about how to use certain devices that they may be interested in is very important. Most of the time, schools have technology experts already present. This makes it more convenient for physical educators to become more knowledgeable about certain devices that they do not know how to use. So each of these things is what Lambert in her article stressed. These are different points that she talked about and the different steps that help us integrate technology into physical education. So my final thoughts about technology and physical education, I believe is, like I said previously, very beneficial. It has its advantages and disadvantages. However, I think a teacher should be able to measure whether the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, and if they do, continue to use it. But if the disadvantages or the cons outweigh the pros, the positive things, then it needs to be eliminated as soon as possible, because you don't want students to start to become apathetic due to the use of technology, or won't want to be a hindrance or slow the learning process down. Do I see myself integrating technology into my future physical education job? In some ways I do. It depends on my students. It depends on the school. It depends on administration, funds, grants that we'll receive for our program. that will determine how much and if at all if I use technology in PE. But I would like to, because I do believe it can be very very beneficial, and it can assist student learning very well. So I do believe that these things can occur. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and that will do it for today.